So brace yourself for this one, because I have put my ears to these financial streets, and the word on the street is the IRS may soon be banned and you may never have to pay income taxes again. What's up, guys? This is Monique and welcome back to the channel. I am back with the news that you definitely can use. But first, if you are new here, hello, bonjour, hola, aloha, konnichiwa, wagwan, shalom, assalamu alaikum, jambo, namaste. So I came across this video right here that said White House to ban IRS and income tax. I was like, hold up, wait a minute, Carlton, what do you mean? And it is actually the House of Representatives that proposed a bill that will completely end the IRS. So what does that mean for people like you and me? No more going to the mailbox checking to see if our W-2 has arrived by January 31st. No more 1099 forms. No more worrying about if Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or any of those other ones are going to be telling the IRS all of that money that you've been receiving. And when you win the lottery, no more paying taxes on that either. So I know it seems like a whole lot going on right here, but do not worry, because I'm about to break it all down so you can understand this. So if this actually is to become law, that will mean that the job that you work at right now will no longer take any taxes out of your checks. So the amount of money that you take home will actually increase. You will receive 100% of your check and you won't have to file any income taxes ever again. So this canceling of the IRS and income tax will fall under what is called the Fair Tax Act. And this is not new. There was a version of this that was first introduced in 1999, and it made a little bit of noise, but it just did not make it into law. But under the Fair Tax Act, income tax is not the only tax that will be eliminated. It will also eliminate payroll taxes, and it will eliminate estate and gifting taxes. So they basically just going around pressing delete on everything. Now, if you are anything like me, you are probably like, okay, what's the catch? Because this sounds too good to be true. Well, you know they're not going to just take it away without putting something else in its place. So they actually want to eliminate the income tax and replace it with a new national tax called a consumption tax. Now, what is a consumption tax? I'm very glad that you asked. A consumption tax is a tax that is placed on the amount of money that you spend on goods and services. So instead of paying taxes on the amount of money that you are making, you would be paying taxes on what you are spending. It's like now when you go to the store and you buy something and you pay the sales tax on that purchase. That is a type of consumption tax. Another type of consumption tax is that tax that the government adds to things like gasoline, and that is called an excise tax. So we are already paying some forms of consumption tax. But with this newly proposed national tax, we will have to pay 23% on goods and services that we purchase. Now, if you actually were to go and look this up, you might see two different numbers. Some are saying 23%, some are saying 30%. But the reason for those two different numbers is you will actually be taxed 30% per $100 that you spend. So that means that is $30 that you are taxed for every $100 that you spend, with a grand total of you paying $130 for that purchase. Now, where they get this magical 23% number from is they take that $30 tax that they are charging you and they divide it by the entire total that you are paying, that $130, and they come out with 23%. But however, you are actually paying 30% on these goods and services that you are buying. So another big question that a lot of people may have is, how will this tax be collected? So instead of you filing your taxes every year with the IRS, that national tax would be calculated at the point of purchase. So whenever you are making a purchase, whether it's online or at a store or wherever it may be, that is the time that you will receive that tax. So one thing about this is the amount of taxes that you pay is going to be determined by your spending habits. How much are you out here spending money on stuff? And that may actually end up causing people to start saving money, because if you're not spending your money, if you're keeping it to yourself, you're not going to be taxed on it. But that 23% or 30%, if you prefer to say that one, is going to be a set rate. It will not depend on how much money you are making each year. It's just going to be what it is. So something else that was interested about this that I think you would want to know is the fact that this new federal national tax will only be for new goods and services that you buy. So if you go out and you visit the used car lot and you decide to buy a used car, you would not have to pay a national tax on that. And that's the same for houses. If you buy a used house, a house that somebody was already living in and now they're selling it to you, you will not have to pay any national federal taxes on that. So that goes for any used goods and services. This national tax is only for new goods and services that you buy. And now for my business owners out there, whatever you buy, if it is a business expense, not for personal use, you will not have to pay this consumption tax on it. But keep in mind, y'all, yes, this bill will get rid of income tax. Income tax is a federal thing. However, you may still have some state taxes that you have to pay. Just laying it out all on the table for you, just so you can know all that this is saying. So to try to make sure people are not paying taxes on the necessities, you know, there's things that we need to buy. The Fair Tax Act will be giving a monthly sales tax rebate that is called the Family Consumption Allowance. But there is some criteria that you will have to meet in order to receive this, and it's going to depend on your family size. And there'll also be some poverty guidelines that are in place. And they basically say that this is their attempt to try to untax the poor and to lower the tax burden for many. So if the IRS won't be collecting this money, then who will? The Fair Tax Act will put this responsibility in the hands of the states. They will be responsible for collecting this consumption tax. And that is concerning for a lot of people, because they feel like that's putting extra unneeded pressure on states. But to make sure that states and businesses are complying, the Fair Tax Act wants to open up 2 new agencies under the Department of Treasury, and that will basically take the place of the IRS. So a big question for a lot of people is, how would this affect the economy? How would this affect us? One major concern that a lot of people are having is that this could increase inflation even more. So basically it's inflation on top of inflation, because they feel like with businesses trying to keep up with this new tax and handling all of this, they are going to try to place their burden so that they can recover from this on customers, which will increase the price of things. So at the end of all of this, the big question is, will this really happen? A lot of people have their doubts. They do not believe that this has enough support to actually be passed into law. This is a bill that the House of Representatives have proposed, and they would have to vote on it. So even if it does get past the House of Representatives, a lot of people believe that this will be shut down in the Senate. And even if it was to pass beyond Senate, President Biden is definitely not on board with this new consumption tax. But do you think that this consumption tax could be a better alternative to income tax? Do you feel like it'll save people money? Because they say it's supposed to be something that helps the poor, but do you think this will really help? But this is all I have for you today. I hope that this has helped you out. Please, if you have not liked this video, go ahead on and like it for me. Other than that, I thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we are out. Peace.